All right. Sorry for the delay, everybody. Welcome to the show. Hopefully, you can hear me okay. I'm on a different setup tonight. Um, got a special guest, as always. The associate pastor, Jamie Williams, is here. Jamie, appreciate you coming on. How are you tonight?
I'm all right. Yeah,
Yeah.
little later in the East, but not too bad. Ready to get going and talk about some important games coming up.
Yeah, and again, my apologies on moving it to tonight, but there's a reason why. There's two games tomorrow night that we have to discuss. I know the big focus right now is playoff stuff, so let's go through the results from last week real quick. To sum it up, SFA is your conference champion. That's it. That's it. That's all we need to talk about. Just SFA is the conference champion. But no, they beat Lamar 26-15. It's actually an enjoyable game. I was there to watch it. And other than SFA giving up a long play for a touchdown and kind of a trash one later in the game, like SFA absolutely just handled Lamar, offensively, defensively. It was a great game for SFA. Let's see, Southeastern Louisiana staves off Incarnate Word 10-7. Southeastern Louisiana tried to give that game away. And it keeps their playoff hopes alive. Nichols beat Northwestern State 26-21, and I'm really shocked Northwestern State scored 21 points against Nichols. Let's see. East, the Lions beat the Christians. East Texas A&M won 37-32, and then UTRGV goes into the hole in Lake Charles and beats the Pokes 28-13. So nice win for UTRGV. Like, honestly, I think it's a good win for that program. That was their first Division I road win. Also, or no, sorry, first Southland Conference road win, because they won on the road against Prairie View. So, but first Southland Conference road win. So good job, Vaqueros. Way to do it. Jamie, did you watch any of the games last week?
Just very bits and pieces. Obviously, I was up at Harrisonburg for JMU putting another butt whooping on somebody. This time it was Appalachian State, but yeah, I caught little bits and pieces of games that played later and was paying attention to everything. Yeah, like you said about Southeastern, which I have this nice sweatshirt on. Thank you, Danny Johnson. But yeah, that's but the important thing, like you said, SFA getting the win and taking over the Steve Austin, Stone Cold Seth Meyer.
Sorry, remember it's Stephen A. Austin, according
that's
to
right.
according
That's
to.
Right. Yeah, to go ahead get that without Sam Vidlak even.
Yeah, that was
Rutherford,
interesting to see. That was interesting to see. Rutherford looked really good, and then Vidlak came in at the very end of the game for a little bit, like for a couple snaps. So I think he's still recovering from injury. I'm sure because it was senior night too. Carthel may have wanted to get him some snaps in front of his family. I don't know. But you know what? Honestly, he doesn't need to play this week. They think they could rest him again and they'd be okay. Because I'm pretty sure SFA could beat Northwestern State with me under center.
Yeah, they could. Just turn around and hand it to Wembley anyway. You'll be fine.
That's exactly it, right? Like they're just not a good team. Let's go through the games for next week, and the reason why is because this is going to tie in. There's a lot of folks who want to talk about playoff implications, prognostication. Jamie, you and I, we did the big show Sunday. There's been a lot of bracketology out. Optus put theirs out. Sam Herder put his out. I think Zach put one out. Like, I've seen a bunch of them, but so let's go to the games. There's 2 Thursday night, both rivalry games, both trophies. Paul, let me come back to that. Okay, so Nichols first. Let me come back to that. Nichols first. They traveled to Hammond to play for in what is always a fun game to watch, the River Bell Classic, Battle for the River Bell, however you want to call it. Nichols did not look good against Northwestern State. Southeastern Louisiana has not looked good in 2 weeks. Let's just be honest. They have not been the team that was plowing through the rest of the FCS. This is one of those games, in my opinion, where it actually, you throw out the record book, you throw out everything, because these two teams, it's pure unbridled hate between them. And weird things happen in this game. Jamie, do you think Nichols is good enough to stop Southeastern Louisiana and burst their playoff hopes? Or do you think that Southeastern Louisiana gets the win and then hangs out on the bubble?
I feel like Southeastern gets the win, and while I think that should be enough to get them in, from a resume standpoint, 9 wins, 9-1 against the FCS. I understand, their best win is probably UTRGV, which is fine. I get or Incarnate Word, but yeah, I just don't. Nichols doesn't have the firepower this year. But then again, like you said, it's the River Bell Classic, and we have watched it even within the last 5 years where the team that you think is going to come in and just dominate because they've got the conference title on the line, and it doesn't happen because the other team just gets up. This is their Nichols does not play after tomorrow, so they might as well treat it as their Super Bowl and see if they can't make something happen and knock their hated rival out. But I would feel very comfortable picking Southeastern, despite the fact that Southeastern's offense has not been that good over the last couple of weeks. The defense has held them in games and made plays, which is something you wouldn't have said about Southeastern in any recent history. Good for them. Frank Self was a good coach. I think he doesn't get as much recognition hanging out down there in Hammond, USA, as he might otherwise. Probably not going to win the Coach of the Year in the conference. That's going to be either Rossamondo or Colby. But
I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it'll be Colby. I think it's Travis Bush. I bet he gets Conference Coach of the Year.
Yeah, you are on that.
Yeah, I really think he does because of he way out exceeded expectations. So I guess Rossamondo did to an extent, so did Carthel to an extent, but Travis Bush absolutely to exceed all expectations. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Southeastern. The thing is, Nichols will leave it all on the field, but Southeastern doesn't want to be on the outside looking in again. That'd be 2 years in a row of them being up there with a a playoff record without a strong resume, and they don't want to be left out again.
Yeah, last year they were at the 7-win mark, so it was really teetering on the edge, and you're pretty sure they weren't going to make it in.
Yeah.
This year they're going to come in at 9 wins. If they come in if they lose this game, there's zero chance. So they're done. They can just, go to the crab boil, a crawfish boil, and not even worry about anything on Sunday. So
yeah. I mean, honestly, as much as Southeastern Louisiana fans annoy me, and they do, with the exception of Mr. Danny Johnson, we're rooting for you because you're the chance to get 3 teams in from the Southland, which has not happened in God knows how long. The other Thursday night game is the battle for the Chief, and I don't mean like Chief Cato. I mean the Chief, which was a trophy now that they're using that replaced Chief Cato, which was the tallest trophy in Division I football, at 7 feet 6 inches. Now it's a log that they play for, and one side's done up with SFA and one side's done up with Northwestern NSU. So it's the Chief, but it's not the Chief. It's not the Chief that we're known for. But anyway, that game's in Natchitoches Thursday night. I don't think there's much to talk about here on this one. Like, SFA is probably just going to motor through. I saw the line on like FCS Reddit, and it was like massively. It was massive. It was like 30 something.
On FanDuel, it's 36.5.
Yeah, 36.
I think that's the only intrigue of the game. Do they cover that?
Yeah.
I'm going to say no, and here's why. Not that they can't. They don't need to.
Yeah.
Because I think that you're going to see a lot of freshmen and sophomores get a lot of time after halftime here in this game, because I think you're going to be looking at a 3-score game, and Colby's, you got to know that the ultimate goal is whatever they can do in the playoffs, and there's enough talent on the Lumberjacks team to at least look at become a quarterfinal team.
Yeah. No, I agree. I actually think that, and we'll talk about this in playoff prognostication, but man, if it lines up the way we mapped it out on Sunday, they have a great path to the quarterfinals. No, I don't think there's much else to say with that game. It's going to be 28-0, probably 28-0 by the end of the first quarter, maybe at half. That's probably it, Austin. I think you're right. Let's go to the other games. There's 2 other rivalry games this week. Cardinals versus the Christians, and Cardinal Word travels to CBS Field to play Houston Christian. Dozens of people are going to probably be at that game.
Half of them will be senior citizens picking up a prescription.
I was going to say CBS might be more crowded than the actual game. This is kind of just, you come back and look at this year, and Cardinal Word's going to finish, if they win, 5-7, which is, nobody thought they would drop off that far. that's such an insane thing to have happen. It's almost like you know, it's almost like a return to the incarnate word that we knew up until a few years ago. Um, it's just kind of shocking. I wonder also too how many players stick around in incarnate word, and how many people are like, "Ah, I'm going to get out of here," because that is a potential thing too. Um, I don't see Houston Christian doing anything against the University Incarnate Word though. So yeah,
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 yeah, me either. I think Incarnate Word shot itself in the foot early by waiting way too long to go to EJ Colson. They've certainly looked better since he's taken over, but this team just for the amount of talent on that team, this record is unacceptable, and I think Coach Killo would tell you that himself. I mean, that's
Y-
just unacceptable.
I know Kilo, and I'm really sure some other folks with Incarnate Word are not happy with how this season turned out. And I'm honestly not trying to bust their chops too much. You know,
No.
like hopefully you see a turnaround for Incarnate Word, because I mean the conference is better when we have better teams and we have high
Mhm.
performing teams. So hopefully, you see Incarnate Word figure it out and get it turned around. McNeese goes to Beaumont to play Lamar at Provo Sunfree Stadium, which I now have a model of in my office, which is kind of cool. So,
Phenomenal.
yeah, so really shout out to Micah and the Lamar Cardinals social media team. I met them after the game. Great group of people, honestly. Like they found me on the field celebrating. It brought me that. I guess I was easy to pick out in my overalls, but no,
There you
Mike.
go.
I talked to Micah a bunch during the game because he's walking back and forth, between the sidelines. He's walking past us, but like they found me a great group. The nice thing is, I think Lamar's obviously solidly in. They're gonna. I don't know if they're a seed type in. I don't think they're gonna get a seed, but I think they're gonna get a road game. But at least they're solidly in. I think even with if they were to somehow stumble and lose at 8-4, they're still gonna be in. But I don't see them losing to McNeese, because McNeese is just not good. Like they suck out loud this year.
Yeah, I do worry a little bit because Lamar has done that kind of play with fire mess this year, where they've had to win some games late. I mean, you think about the East Texas A&M game, and that was tighter than it needs to be. And McNeese does have some talent, and I don't think I'm gonna go out on any limb and pick McNeese, but I think Lamar would do serve itself well to get a fast start here, because they cannot have to scramble back. They don't have the firepower offense. They got a great defense, got a solid special team, so maybe they can make a big play on teams and kind of get themselves ahead in that game. But they need to. They can't play with fire like they
Well,
have done, because they could get burned.
Well, the big thing for Lamar is Coleman, their quarterback, left the game injured. Actually, it's funny. Austin, who's in the chat, he and I were standing next to talking to each other down on the field. And we saw Coleman walk into the locker room, and it just was not a good look. He looked like he's dinged up pretty bad. So it's probably going to be Aiden McCown starting for Lamar. The fact that the game's in Beaumont versus Lake Charles makes you feel a bit more comfortable, because Lamar is usually pretty good at home. They do well there. Playing in Lake Chuck is a different sort of thing. Even when McNeese is bad, that stadium gets loud. Um, so I, but yeah, it would be interesting to see what happens. So if Lamar did lose, that would cause some chaos. So my assumption is they'll win. And then I see Paul. I see Paul's comment about how about just slapping the faces to Incarnate Word of the success of UTRGV this year. I don't know if it's a slap in the face necessarily. Um, UTRGV is 8-3, but really they're 5-3 at the D1 level. So, if they were to lose this game, they would finish the same amount of Division One wins. But I mean, I still think those two. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with the dynamic between those two schools, because Incarnate Word's the closest one to UTRGV. That's, it could really and truly, UTRGV could even further diminish Incarnate Word's footprint in Texas. And it's not, the Incarnate Word doesn't have a big one to begin with. But anyway, East Texas A&M gets to travel down to Edinburgh and play UTRGV. Um, Again, I've said this, even though I'm dogging them a little bit for having 3 subdivision 1 wins, I understand why they had those games, right? Even you take that away, 5 division 1 wins, potentially 6 once they beat East Texas A&M, and I think they will. That's a hell of a start I mean, it really and truly is for a first year program. So shout out to Coach Bush, shout out to the Vaqueros, shout out to Conk at AD. Like they're making things happen down there. And it's gonna be really exciting to watch and see what they do and what they continue doing. And then also now, they're gonna have more transfer portal activity probably with folks potentially looking at going down there. Although there might be a lot of the players who stick around because of what they've done this year. So, um, give me UTRGV. I think, Jamie. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so, but I think this has the opportunity to be the game in the Southland this week with the most points scored.
Oh, I agree, 100%.
I actually like East Texas A&M's offense. Uh, it's inconsistent, but it can put some points up in the right situations. And obviously, Eddie Lee Marburger Jr., whose name sounds like he probably should have been arrested for murder, but for killing, for assassination.
My
Nothing
God.
against. It's just the way the name is,
Yeah.
Eddie Lee Marburger Jr. has been convicted, down in Texas. So, not at now. By the way, Vaqueros fans, I'm not at all insinuating that he is that. That's just how the name sounds. But what he is an assassin with the football, and
Yeah.
he's a really really good quarterback, and yeah, Travis Bush has done a great job. So
He did, and he did murder Incarnate Word. But here's the thing about Eddie Lee Marburger. If you look at his stats, okay, he's for the year, he's 181 out of 282, right? 2,590 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, 7 picks. Yet I don't think he's on any sort of finalist list. And is it because of the competition, do you think, or is it because folks are still forgetting that Eddie Lee Marburger is a thing?
yeah, I have a feeling that he will wind up on the Peyton ballot. He'll be one of those guys that doesn't get many votes, for sure. But with those kind of numbers, yeah, I think he's got a chance to show up on there. But yeah, like you said, 3 subdivision or sub D1 games obviously is not gonna, spark any excitement for anybody. But how good does that Prairie View win look now?
Exactly.
I
So with them
mean,
being in SWAC
Prairie
West,
View could very well win the SWAC. They could go in there and beat Jackson, and because I think that's how it's going to show up. But
yeah,
I think, yeah, I like Marburger. I think all that the Vaqueros can do is just increase their profile. Their arrow is way up, and a lot of credit, like you said, to the AD and to Coach Bush. And I'll be interested to see what this team is in 3 years, whether it's a top Southland team or a Conference USA team or something.
yep, 100%. So guys, see Callum's here. Callum is SFA guy, SFA player. He's here for perfect time because we're going to talk playoffs. So let's look at the Southland. Let's assume that Lamar wins and that Southeastern Louisiana wins. That's the assumption, okay? And I know the thing about assuming makes an ass, but I think these are pretty easy assumptions to make this week. So let's look at SFA first. And there's a comment that was up top that said that SFA is making an argument to be a top 8 seed. Here's my thought on this, Jamie. I know I know we'll be watching Sunday live on FCS Fans Nation. Shameless plug that you can watch along with us as we go live. I say we. It's probably Jamie, Kyler, and Matt, not me. But
You're part of this thing, man.
I was there for Chattanooga. I should be part of it now. But no. The thing with this is I think for SFA to be a top 8 seed, there has to be some shenanigans that happen because I think you have to see Lafayette beat Lehigh. I think you have to see Tennessee Tech stumble against Tennessee Martin. And then I think you probably have to see somebody else in that bottom move, right? Because then if you look at the rest of the teams that it could be in that 9 to 12 range, you've got potential for someone like Illinois State to get a 9 seed with their resume, right? You've got Monmouth, who has they do have a bad loss with when Robertson was out, so there's a lot of folks in that area. So I think if it goes chalk and these teams win that you expect to see win, SFA is probably not going to get a top 8 seed because if you look at the resume, they needed that win against Abilene Christian. And that's me trying to be as unbiased as I can about my team. Like, would love to see us be a top 8 seed. But hey, if I have to go to Nacogdoches Thanksgiving weekend, I'm not going to complain either, right? I've already got my hotel room booked. I had that booked a while ago, so um, no. So I don't think they make a top 8 seed. I bet when it's done, I've seen everything from 12 to like 15 for them. I think 15 is too low. Honestly, I could see a 12 seed. I'd like the 12 seed because SFA historically has loved the 12-5 matchup in basketball, so why not bring it over to football? But
Duke resembles that remark.
West Virginia, anyways, but like, I really do see them being a 12, about a 12 seed. I see them getting a home game on Thanksgiving, on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Be great for the crowd. But I think there would have to be a lot of moving parts for them to break into the top 8.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think I stumped for them at 12 or 13 on Sunday. That's where it feels the sweet spot is for SFA. The Sol Ross game, whether that sucks. That you didn't have even play Stetson or somebody. It's perception is that the D1 win and now it's not, so that hurts. And I don't know if I said it on the premiere episode of the season here or if I said it on my rankings episode that the key to your season was the Abilene Christian game because there wasn't anything else there. Now Lamar having a good year does give you a quality win, so that certainly helps, which should get you into the seeding discussion. But I don't. There's a lot that has to happen. I feel like to even get to the 8 because I just think there's so many teams bunched right there. I think you had named some of them. I've seen Yale winning against Harvard to be another one.
Yeah, I forgot about Harvard being up there.
Yeah, Mercer's basically done with their FCS schedule, so I'm higher on Mercer and SFA than most everybody. I think I've got them both. Like I think I've got them 6 and 7 in my rankings, which is it's as high as anybody. Mercer's might be higher on Kevin's, but you have to subtract 3 to see where he really thinks a Southern Conference team is.
Yeah, like I mean, again to that point, like there's last year, this last weekend was nuts. The year before was absolutely insane. So weird things happen because this is usually rivalry weekend. This is great games, throughout the record book sort of thing. I've said that a couple times, but it's true. So I think SFA fans will watch, we play the game. Obviously the team, and they're not doing this, but obviously you can't look past Northwestern State. You got to go out, play that game, get the win, and then sit back Saturday, watch the results, and then try to figure out where you're going to be from there. But SFA's, I mean, we already know we're in. It's just where we're going to be. I would love to see us get a home playoff game, not against Southeastern Louisiana. I don't think that's going to happen, though. If Southeastern Louisiana gets in, that's such an easy slot for them to set it and forget it and move on to the other first round games.
Yeah, for sure. You and I have been saying for weeks if they both get in, they're playing each other, one spot or the other, and it looks like that has a chance to happen in NAC. I just don't see any way you schedule it otherwise because you've already played Lamar, you've already played Abilene. Abilene's probably going to have a seed anyway. It just makes too much sense, and I'm not sure how the fan bases would react, but it just makes too much sense not to have that as the game.
Yeah, and Paul, I see a couple of comments about the Massey ratings. And the reason why I'm not pulling these up is because I'm obviously not on my normal computer. But right now, SFA is 14th in Massey. Their strength of schedule, the finish is 70th. So the resume is not super solid without the Lamar win. That's why the Abilene Christian one was so damn important. Because if you look at the rest of the out of conference, that's absolutely true about Zach. But anyway, so but if you look at the out of conference slate, Cal Poly doesn't move the needle, Sol Ross doesn't move the needle, Houston doesn't really count. I mean, so it's what it is. Let's go real quick. Let's go hit Lamar because to me, I mean, I think 8-4 Lamar. I still think they'd get in even if they lost because they do have the win over South Dakota, and that South Dakota win is looking better and better each week because of what South Dakota is doing. So I think because South Dakota won in that crazy game Saturday, that put Lamar into the playoffs safely.
Yeah. I think Lamar's in. I mean, I don't see a path for them to get knocked out even with the loss here. It's just It'll be even at 8-4. I think that's the other almost lock. I think they're going to Abilene. I, I think they're going to go. I think that's going to be the game for them. It makes too much sense, kind of like the Southeastern and SFA.
Yeah.
Keep that Texas matchup together. It's still a bus trip and a minimal accessible bus trip and what this playoff looks like it's going to be. So I feel like that's going to be the matchup. And that's going to be a really good one because Abilene with that really solid offense and Lamar's defense, which way wins out is going to would be key if that was the matchup. But yeah, I think Lamar, like we said, we think they're going to beat McNeese. I don't really see a path to them even to 16. I just think those Valley teams are going to just choke that out as well. And you're going to have, as much as we're going to have to hate to see it, we're going to have 3 seeded CAA teams, and probably none of them in the top 8. But that's going to be, 3 of the 8 teams hosting Thanksgiving week will be CAA teams most likely, and then you'll probably have 2 Valley teams hosting. So there's 5 SFA hosts. So there's 6, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. And I will say this, just from a fan perspective, it kind of sucks to see that the playoff game is going to be probably Lamar at ACU, because that's the week 0 game next year for Lamar. Abilene Christian's going to Lamar to open the season. So that's just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like I would, because that kind of sucks. I guess it'd be great to be like, oh, next year's like, oh, it's a rematch of the playoffs or whatnot. But I understand the regionalization behind the first round games in the playoffs. You have to do it, but at the same time, you kind of also want to see teams that you don't normally get to see. Like I would love for, like, I don't know, I'm going to pick like Drake. Well, Drake, I mean, not Drake because they would, but like Drake or, I would love
Illinois State
to come. I would love Dartmouth to come. Are you serious? Like, but they're not going to do that, obviously, because of costs and things like that. So yeah, it sucks for Lamar, but you know what? Micah, you're watching this, just know you're going to have to work over Thanksgiving weekend because you're going to probably be in Abilene. So sorry, there's a lot. I would say there's a lot worse places to be than Abilene, but Abilene's pretty bad. So
while we're on Lamar still, just want to say Micah was awesome last week on the show. Glad you were able to get him on. He's a good person to interact with on socials. So like he said, follow Lamar football.
Yeah.
I tried to get him to send me one of those cardiac cat shirt, but he said when I ranked them above South Dakota, and then they went out and lost, so I couldn't do that. So.
Well, so it's funny. I'll tell you all because I didn't tell this, I don't think, publicly on any show, but or on social media, but what it was. But after the show, Micah and I had made a bet about the game, and I somehow got the worst end of this bet had I lost, to be honest with you. But if SFA won, which they did, Micah has to get Twiggy the Squirrel merch. He already got the keychain. I've already seen that. He has that. He had that. He showed me that at the game. But he has to get the Twiggy the Squirrel shirts to rock on campus. So now he owes me that, and he owes me a photo of that. And I would want to see that on the Lamar social media, but I doubt that's going to happen. Had SFA lost, so Callum, you're still in the chat, glad you didn't lose. I would have had to be photographed on the field after the game wearing the Lamar football helmet. That was the bet that we made. I would have been in my purple and white bibs, overall bibs, wearing a Lamar helmet for Lamar's social media. So thank you. Thank you, Jax, for winning. So I didn't have to do that. But you know what? In the spirit of the game, I'll do stuff like that, right? Like it was a good bet. And if we play Southeastern, if the Southeastern folks want to make a little bet like that, I'll do a bet similar to it as well. So
you're better than man than me. I will not bet on my team, and I will not wear my Rivals gear.
I won't bet money on my team.
When we did the rivalry, everybody wears a rival shirt in Frisco a few years ago on the charity. I wore NDSU.
Yeah,
I'll wear that. I ain't wearing Richmond.
It burned to wear that Sam Houston shirt.
I'm sure.
But we raised a lot of money, so it was for good. But let's go to the Southeastern. They're, to me, the most interesting team to watch this week because you would think they're going to win their game. But again, Riverbell's nuts, so I don't want to make any sort of assumption. But when you look at their resume, it's bad. like you said earlier, their signature win now is UTRGV. Their out of conference was against Murray State and Mississippi Valley State University, right? Just two bottom feeders. One program of those two absolutely love because they're so bad. But then the game they needed to beat Lamar. They didn't get it. So thank you. Thanks, mate. As Callum is Australian. But yeah, so so I there's the conversation here because I still think I know they'll have 9 wins if they win. There's an argument that there's some 8-4 teams that deserve it over them on resume alone. If that could be bubble. And what I worry for Southeastern Louisiana is for back-to-back years, they made the mistake of they did not play a strong out of conference schedule. This year they scheduled 2 FBS schools to get the bag, which makes sense because the state of Louisiana is cutting funding the schools, so you have to get the money somehow. But like does 9-3 on a soft resume get you in over a 8-4 South Dakota State? That's maybe a bad example because that would knock somebody else out. But or like a 8-4 New Hampshire or 8-4 Dartmouth or 8-4
7-4 UC Davis if they happen to lose.
7-4 UC Davis, 7-5 Southern Utah. I still think Southern Utah's wins are better than their losses. That San Diego loss hurts. So if you look at their wins and what they did, I think they have a sneaky strong resume.
Yeah.
Austin's exactly right. They are a cautionary tale about out of conference scheduling. And when I say all that, it's not that I don't want to see Southeastern Louisiana in the playoffs. It's just you don't want to be in a spot, especially in a year like this year where there's probably 30 to 32 teams deserving into playoffs for 24 slots.
I still have, I think, 31 that I say have a shot. I think Timothy has 32 to 34.
Yeah.
So it's a big bubble. A lot of them burst real quick because of other results. But however, that's how many teams are alive. And you're talking, that also includes 3 Pioneer teams that are still alive.
If Presbyterian's a damn playoff team. Sorry, but
they're alive in the sense that they've got to win and the other 2 teams have to lose. But they're alive.
Well, to be fair, to that extent, Southern Utah is alive in that same way too.
Yeah,
because if Abilene Christian loses and Tarleton loses, Southern Utah gets the auto qualify, gets the AQ.
I don't know what has to break for that. I saw something that said that Abilene still would get it, so I don't know.
I don't know. I love them as a team. I love Coach Fitzgerald.
Yeah,
so I keep rooting for
where I stand.
Yeah, but at the same time too, you can't lose to Pioneer League school.
Yeah, and he'll tell you that too. He doesn't have to tell you that in a private moment. He'll tell you that publicly.
Yep. So I think again, as it sits now, SFA probably a 12 seed. Lamar not playing on the road, and Southeastern Louisiana playing on the road in Nacogdoches.
Yeah, I hope that a 9-win Southeastern team, because 9-1 against the FCS that's hard to do. But we've seen 9-win Southland teams get excluded before, and I'd hate to see it happen again. But you just never know. Sunday's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Sunday is going to be very interesting, and that actually successfully a great segue because let's talk about what's going on Sunday. So Sunday morning, the bracket show is at 11 o'clock Central Time, 12 o'clock Eastern. The bracket reveal. Obviously, it's going to follow some bad low to mid-major MTE Saturday morning game because it always does. It's never going to run on time, so just be prepared for that. But yeah, you can watch it on ESPN. Maybe it's ESPN too. But then you can also watch it with us. Have your TV on ESPN, mute the sound so you don't have to hear people who don't know shit about FCS talk about FCS, and come listen to Matt, Kyler, and Jamie as it gets revealed. I think that's a better way to do it. There will be a lot of folks waiting with bated breath to see where they land. Jamie, I know this is always a fun one. Let's see.
That's pretty funny and pretty bad all at the same time.
Well, given the way social media and things have gone this week with the FCS, I would be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if they did that. They might, hell, knowing them, they might accidentally put SDSU highlights up instead. All five of them from this year. Um, but no, so Jamie, I know this is a show you are very excited about. We also have to see how many teams that we got right as part of the tracking. Um, I know you're looking forward to it. Like, I mean, just is there anything else I'm missing talking about with the game or with the show?
No, I mean, yeah, just tune in, a little bit before the show comes on. Paul says ESPNU,
Thank you,
which is
ESPNU.
fine.
Thank you. Yep,
ESPNU, not ESPN2. It definitely matters.
it definitely
We'll
does
probably be
matter.
on a little bit before the bracket. If I have time, I might put together a quick last call,
Hmm.
and not last call for alcohol, but last call for the bracket and see what I think.
Yep.
Um, and we'll throw that out there, see how we do, see if we can get another Chattanooga reaction that Rev somehow snipped and continuously sends to me randomly.
Oh, it's so great. Yeah. And also too, if you see me wincing in pain Sunday, it's because I'm getting my SFA tattoo done Saturday. So I'm sure I'll accidentally bump where it is. So gotta get it done. Um so no, that's it. Good show, quick show. And apologies for like the time shifting and things running late.
I'll be on Saturday. I'll be in Harrisonburg watching JMU play against the Wish.com Jackrabbits of
Yeah.
Washington. So we'll remind Jimmy of what it was like the last time he showed up in Harrisonburg.
I honestly hope that JMU beats them and JMU gets their CFP spot. Although honestly, North Texas is pretty damn good too. Like, not gonna lie to you, as someone who almost went to UNT, who had looked at it really hard, it's kind of I have a soft spot for him. So I'm kind of interested to see how that all plays out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be interesting. All we got to do, all we can control, is the 4 games. Hopefully, the 4 games that we got left in between, 3 games we got left in between.
Yep. So Jamie, real quick before we go, I know you've done this before, but there's some new folks. Remind them what all you do for the FCS and where they can find you on your socials so you can get your clout.
Yeah, it's easy to find us on. We actually go live this year Sunday nights, except for this week. We always call it the Big Boy Show because I used to be the Big Boy. Dash 50 now. So Matt, Kyler, and I go live, talk through our questions that we go through the week. So go on SCS Gold. You can get a question in, or you listen to us live. Sometimes we'll answer some stuff from the comments. Find me at JD Williams 23 on the old Twitter bot, and just 3 followers, I think, short of 900 there. So getting on up there. Like
I have more than you.
Absolutely, dude. I'm
What?
nobody. I got nothing.
I'm nobody too.
Yeah, I know. I'm nobody, and obviously you can see on there and on the Facebook page, you can see my top 25 every week. And when I remember to post it on Gold, you can see my top 128 because I rank them all every week.
So one other thing too, when it comes to the ranking chat, Jamie does 1 to 127, and it's insane what he does. There's Micah. I knew he would show up. But also too, like just some admin stuff too. The live show will be Sunday at 11. I may see if some of the podcasters want to do a mega live Sunday night to do just a reaction to the bracket after kind of letting it digest a little bit. So you may see another live show Sunday night. As always, tradition, we usually do 1 or 2 mega lives during the playoffs just to get in, have some beers, and just discuss everything that's going on. Also, they don't sponsor this show, Dallas, but Renegade Rehydration. I don't have the great reads like Kyler does, but if you need something to help you recover Sunday after cheering Saturday, go to renegaderehydration.com. Get yourself some great powder to use. And really, that's it. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the 2 games we got tomorrow night, 2 great rivalry games. Then 3 more in the Southland Saturday, but make sure you get your quad feed set up on your TVs. Sit back, get a bucket of beer, watch some games, and I will probably do a show sometime next week just to discuss the playoff things. Which obviously Thanksgiving kind of throws everything off and everything like that, but we'll probably maybe try to do one like Tuesday night. There'll be more to come. Just check Twitter or check your notifications. If you don't ring the bell on YouTube for this channel, go ahead and ring the bell. Make sure you like and subscribe and all that jazz. So for on behalf of the associate pastor, Jamie Williams, and myself, the Rev, have a great weekend. We will see you next week, and cheers.
Boom.